Hi, tonight I thought we might talk a little bit about thrush. Thrush is one of those inevitable things that happen when you have horses and you just sort of want to get a handle on how to look after it. There's the old expression, no foot, no horse, and it actually really is true. So tonight we're going to look at his feet first. Just don't notice how scruffy he is because we'll groom him after we've done his feet. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a hoof pick. This is my preference. You'll see a lot of people use this kind. I can't stand this type. You know, the way I hold a hoof pick is that I'm going to be always facing, my thumb faces the same way as the part that I'm picking out with, so that I've used the strength of my arm to pick out the foot. But if you have one like this, you're kind of up against the brush and pushing around. I just can't stand them, but people like them. You know, I understand it because they like to brush the foot out after they've picked it, so I guess it's okay. I personally prefer to use this kind and just have either a small wire brush or a hard sort of brush that I use to clean out the feet afterwards. Okay, so run our hand down the back of Gus's leg. Hopefully he offers up his foot. I'm going to hoof pick it out this way. Always you go like away from the horse, right? You don't want to be coming this way because you could accidentally hit the horse, right? So we're always going away. And that's when now I would use my brush to clean this out a little bit better. So I like a wire brush, I just can't find it right now. So I'm just using this hard brush. Okay, so thrush is just like a bacteria, really, and it loves to grow in places like this, you know, where things are kind of closed in a little bit. So what thrush looks like is a black, sort of pasty, oily kind of stuff, and it's got a really distinctive smell to it. So the places that you can end up with thrush are on this side, or the one that I really worry about is the one that's in the center. This is a problem with this horse, right? He came like this, we're trying to treat it. That is way too deep. And if you look here, let me just put this down. That's starting to go right up into his heel. Can you see that? So it comes right up here. So if that thrush gets high enough, a horse can do what we call shear their heels. So if they land on something on this side and their foot isn't supported on this side, the pressure can tear that heel area. They can actually shear the heel this way, and then you've got a really lame horse. Here's a picture I found on the internet, and you can see where the red arrow is pointing. That thrush has gone really high up, not only in the center one, but on the sides as well. And it's really quite destabilizing at that point. It takes a little bit of not noticing to let thrush get to this point for sure. By contrast, here's a couple of pictures of healthy feet. Now, even though the foot you're about to see needs to be trimmed this week, you can still see that while the clefts are a bit deep, the frog itself is still solid and the heels are all in one piece. There's no danger of the heels being sheared on this horse. I can actually, you know, stick my finger in there quite deeply, right? And you shouldn't be able to do that. That should all be nice and closed in, so we're going to treat that. So I like to start out by getting that area really clean to start with. So I just want to make sure that if there is any of that sort of black discharge that you see with thrush, then I'm going to get it out of there. Okay, get that crack, that crevice there, really good and clean. Okay, there we go. Okay, so after I've sort of washed the foot out a little bit, make sure it's nice and clean. I'm just going to dry it a little bit now because I want to put some antiseptic stuff on that. It's not a hard thing to, it's not a hard bacteria to fight, really. It's just a matter of maintenance. Like the easiest way to prevent thrush is just to keep the horse's feet clean, right? To pick them out regularly and not let them get to this point. Once you're at this point, you've got a little bit more work on your hands, right? Because you've got to get them cleaned up at this point. So any antiseptic works. We use what we call in Canada Thrush X, or Copper Tox, you'll hear it sometimes called. And so I dab a little bit there. I can put some here just as a precautionary, even though that cell size is not too bad. It's that center cell size that's a big problem right now. And I pack it a little bit with some cotton because I want to keep that nice and clean. And so I'm going to stick the cotton in there. You shouldn't be able to get cotton in there. Like there should be no gap there, right? So I'm filling that up to kind of act as a little bit of a wick for more of this Copper Tox to put it on like that. Now, if you're doing this and you're going up as close to the heel as I am, you want to really be careful not to get that kind of product up here on the actual bulbs of the horse's heel. You know, if that crack goes up any further, I would put Vaseline here first so that I protect his sort of more sensitive skin in this area, so that if I make a mistake and get some of this on it, he's not going to get sort of a bit of a burn like that. So as you see, this old fella's got a few problems with thrush and things like that, but it's something we're going to keep working on. I always recommend to people, just pay attention to your horse's feet. This is where all your problems are. Obviously, if you want to become an expert at anything, become an expert from the knee down on a horse. It'll help you a lot. Oh, one last little quick safety tip. Right? You never want to wrap your finger around a horse's foot like this. It sounds crazy, but they can put their foot down so fast that sometimes you can't get your hand out of the way in time, right? So you want to make sure that you're holding it here, but you don't want to hold it back here so that this foot has got no support. You want to actually hold your hand on the hoof wall as you're working it. Okay, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much. And if you're watching this anywhere besides at our blog, which is thisismyhorsehappy.com, go on over there, scroll down, leave a message, tell me if you've got any thrush stories of your own, and we'll talk to you next week. Remember to thank your horse.